now we're going to talk about Danielle LaSusa, who is our practical philosopher. She specializes in philosophical coaching, and she also teaches classes on kind of the big questions with a capital B and a capital Q. So I'm going to go ahead and invite her to come join us right now.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, ladies.
Good to see you.
You too. So I am also going to quickly share my screen here. Thank you both so much for having me. This is amazing. You both are amazing for continuing to do this. I hope everyone is staying out of the heat if you're in Portland, because it's crazy right now. And let's put this. So my name is Danielle LaSusa, and I have a PhD in philosophy, and as my screen is loading here, let me know, it's moving very slowly, let me know if you can't see it. So I call myself a practical philosopher, because I think philosophers, we've created a pretty bad name for ourselves for not being particularly practical. But I really care about using philosophy and philosophical thinking to engage with and transform real human lives and real human issues that we deal with, not just these sort of like abstract pie in the sky kinds of things. And so a little bit about me. My background, as I said, is in philosophy from academia, a PhD, and I'm now a philosophical coach, which is just sort of a title that I invented. Essentially, I'm using my philosophical training to serve people and ask them questions and help them think through their lives. And philosophy is actually pretty well suited for this. It's all about asking big questions about the most fundamental parts of human experience. And there's a whole body of literature about living well. What is the good life? What is the right thing to do? What is happiness? How do you get there? You know, what is the meaning of life? And so those are the kinds of questions that I talk about my clients with. I'm also a writer and a speaker. Before everything kind of shut down due to COVID, I was going and doing speaking gigs. I also have a podcast called Think Hard Podcast, and that's sort of about bringing philosophical issues to everyday life and philosophical thinking rather to everyday issues. And now I focus on and specialize in helping moms think about what it means to make a human person. I think that motherhood in our culture is not really talked about that way. We talk about the care and the stuff you have to buy and the sort of like preparation logistically, and then of course like how quickly you're going to get your body back or something ridiculous like that. But I don't think we talk about it in terms of creating a human consciousness, and that creating a human consciousness is like perhaps one of the most profound, philosophically profound things you can ever do. And we don't talk about parenthood and particularly motherhood that way. And I think part of the reason we don't talk about motherhood that way is because sexism, because we think that women somehow can't have those kinds of deep thoughts, or that should not be part of our public conversation about the female experience. And it is, you know, Margot was talking about those huge shifts in identity and grief and loss, and all of those things come with this transition to parenthood. So I focus on helping moms think through that from this philosophical lens. Now I want to say I never ever thought I was going to be working with moms about motherhood. Like my philosophical interests were in like existential philosophy and Buddhism and feminism, and I never thought that motherhood was going to be like part of that. But you know, life happens. So I just want to tell a little bit about my background. This photo was taken about four and a half years ago, February 17th, 2015. There is me and my little daughter, who's now 4.5. And this photo was actually taken 2 days after I was discharged from the Cedar Hills Mental Health Hospital psychiatric ward I experienced postpartum psychosis, which is pretty rare. About 1 or 2 in 1,000 pregnancies results in psychosis, so I got lucky. But not that rare when you think about that. So I got to the point where like I just wasn't sleeping well, insomnia, hormones, who knows what else, philosophy brain in overdrive, and I could not really discern what was real from what wasn't real. I wasn't hallucinating, but I also wasn't sure I wasn't dreaming. And which is funny because I teach that. I taught Descartes, who, Rene Descartes, 15th, 16th century philosopher, who like his big question is, how do you know you're not dreaming right now? And, I would teach that to like a classroom full of undergrads, and they would be like, oh, that's so deep. And I'd be like, oh, isn't that crazy? But I really, at the moment, like didn't actually know if I was dreaming or not. And that was terrifying. Turns out not fun. So I spent a few days in a mental health hospital, and then another like year or so really recovering from that. Once I kind of got my feet again, I realized that doing this philosophical coaching thing, it was sort of the only thing I could think to do that didn't make me want to cry all the time. It was the only thing that made me feel connected to my love of philosophy and to myself. And I really wanted to serve women and serve mothers in particular, because I knew what a big life-changing experience that could be, even in the best of circumstances. So I started kind of really digging into this. And I think that it's important for us culturally and individually to recognize that new parenthood comes with huge questions, like the big philosophical questions, things like, what do I care about? And what do I value? Like, what is important to me? What do I want to teach to this young, new, conscious being about what is important and what they should focus on and what they should care about? Where do I put my time and my energy and my thinking? And those things shift dramatically. A project at work that felt really important before now just feels like it doesn't matter at all. And so it can be really disorienting to see your values shift from underneath you. Similarly, that can bring on this huge sense of identity. Like, what is my role? What is my role in the universe? Like, I thought that I was supposed to be or do or serve in some particular way, and now I have a whole like other thing that I'm supposed to be doing that I don't know how to do and I'm growing into, and it can be really disorienting for your sense of self. The question of like, what does it mean to create a human life? What does it mean to have like a being that didn't exist before exists now? And I find that when I talk to my clients and women who take my classes, that creating a human life, it gets you like closer to the membrane between existence and non-existence, which can be really scary. You start thinking about life and death differently. And it can be, again, really disorienting and can feel like I'm losing it. And sometimes you are, I know. And sometimes there really is like mental illness and things that we need to take care of. But I think also there's a big part of this experience that doesn't necessarily mean that you were ill. It just means that you're grappling with something really big, and we need to treat it that way as a culture. Things like, what is the meaning or purpose of life? What am I, like, is the goal of life to be happy? We all just say we want our kids to be happy. Well, what does that mean? How do we get there? How do we teach them that? Is that the right goal? What if the purpose in life is not to be happy, but to make the world a better place, even if you suffer through it? How do you know? How do you know? And then, of course, all these emotions come up. You feel ambivalent. You feel frustrated. You feel full of grief. You don't know what they mean. You don't know how to read your emotions anymore. I thought I wanted this, but now I don't, or I regret this. And what, am I a bad mom? And all of these constructions of good moms and bad moms. Ugh, it's just so much to untangle. What are my ethical responsibilities? These are huge, huge questions. And then how do I know what to do? I just find that it is part of the grappling process. So to help with that, I work with clients one-on-one, and I also teach this course called The Meaning of Motherhood. The next version of it is going to be online, given the world, and actually it's good in a way because people have been asking me to teach this course online since its inception a year and a half ago, but now I have reason to to really get that going. So the next one is going to start in October 1st, and registration will open in just a few weeks. So if you are really interested, this is a class, it's a 4-week, and actually the online version is going to be a 5-week class, grappling with these questions of what does it mean to make a person. And we talk about the good mom, bad mom tropes. We talk about matrescence, which is like the period of new motherhood, very much like adolescence. We talk about, mortality and like thinking about death all the time. We talk about what it means to know things and how to share our knowledge and wisdom and value it. So all of those things, part of my class, you get to commune with other women, people, and anyone can sign up. You don't have to be a woman. You don't have to identify as a woman. You don't have to identify as a mom. So far, I've had people who are thinking about maybe one day becoming moms, all the way up to, pregnant, new kids, teenage kids. And it's been really great to watch information and resources and wisdom being shared in that community. So I really encourage you to join and subscribe to my newsletter there at daniellelesouza.com/subscribe to learn more about that. And then you can contact me. I am currently doing all video or online sessions. I do offer free phone consultations. And in the raffle basket, I'm offering a free 1-hour session with me. So if you get that, I'll reach out to you and we'll schedule that online. So I think that's my time. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Danielle.
This is everybody's last chance to throw a question into the chat or the Q&A for Danielle. Can you talk a little bit, just while we're waiting to see if anybody has anything for you, about, I've noticed you've been offering some classes around the pandemic.
Yes, so I have been doing free online monthly classes, and I'm taking August off because summer. But my next one will be the first Sunday of September, and it will be called The Existential Crisis of Parenthood. It's a free class. There are 25 spots. If you join my newsletter, you can, you'll be the first to know about it, and I put it out on social media and stuff. So
great. Thank you so much. Well, I'm not seeing anything come through, so thank you for being here, and thank you for your time. We totally appreciate it.
Thanks.
I will share Danielle's info here.
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep.
Thanks for watching. If you liked our channel, please make sure that you hit the button at the bottom and subscribe so you don't miss any other videos we have coming up.
If you want to know the moment we post, hit that bell to notify you.
Ding, ding. We're also on Facebook and Instagram
At the Parent Trip PDX.
And we have a Patreon that we'd love you to check out.
We do all of this for free. We love to support you. We love to share all these resources, but it would help us out a lot if you came and gave us a little support so we can keep doing what we do.
Thanks.